In a world where the quality of information available to poorer communities is doctored, tainted and sometimes regressive, where the words fake news have come to mean other people's opinions, it is vital to rely on news platforms with journalists who have feet on the ground and can report the truth. New York Parrot, a New York-based national and global news outlet, is changing the narratives of media operations. We focus on the news that matters, like self-empowerment, entrepreneurship, finances, health, security, politics, and more. We strive to curb violence, racial and economic discrimination, and to promote peace and socio-economic development of multiculturally diverse world. As we give voice to the people, we also give your business a voice and make it heard. Get your product and services off the ground by advertising on our fast-growing platform. With so much of daily visits to New York Parrot, you can't afford to be invisible to prospective clients on the website they trust the most. Our posts reach millions of people across the New York State and around the world. Advertising on our news site will unlock an audience of thousands of potential customers on your doorstep. New York Parrot is born to prosperously speak tomorrow for the voiceless.
Greetings, my fellow New Yorkers, and live from the Boogie Down Bronx. My name is SHEIKH MUSA DRAMMEH. I will be speaking to you for the next maybe 25 minutes or so. I am here today to commemorate the tremendous contributions of women in our lives. Our mothers, our grandmothers, our sisters, our wives, our daughters, who are and have been and have forever been making it possible not only for our enjoyment of life, but for life itself. As we always said, no woman, no life. Therefore, I will open up this conversation by celebrating Women's History Month. So to all the ladies out there, please accept my expression of the utmost highest love and respect and cherishment and honor for you and on your behalf. So happy Women's History Month. Anyway, today, I'm here to talk about our upcoming press conference on the steps of the New York City Hall. On the steps of City Hall, the world famous City Hall in the heart of the financial district in Lower Manhattan in New York City. Leaders from the religious community, from the political community, from our schools, and community organizers and victims of crime and violence will gather on the steps of City Hall on Wednesday, March 15, 2023, between the hours of 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Once again, the leaders from across the city will be gathering on the steps of City Hall on Wednesday, March 15, 2023, between the hours of 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. to hold a joint press conference in the dedication of launching our public safety declaration. So I hope all of you will find it to be an important event, to schedule to be there. I know that it's a work day, working hours, but the topic and the subject and the reason why we're coming to City Hall is so extremely important to our lives and livelihoods. Therefore, wherever you may be, please schedule to be there with us. It's only about 1 hour. I know the traffic or the transportation, but trust me, it is well worth the time and the effort. And let the boss know that you are going to attend a public safety declaration. I promise you, every New Yorker now who runs a business would love for you to be part of the solution to the proliferation of crime and violence affecting residents and entrepreneurs all across the city. They will definitely let you come so that together we will bring New York City back to being the safest big city in the nation, a city where residents, entrepreneurs, tourists, and service providers will continue to be safe and will continue to enjoy all things New York. Please. Now, this press conference is about a declaration, which is a public safety declaration. And the declaration, I am preempting it because I want you to come. I wanted to wait until, we stand right there with our elected officials, to walk you through some of our conceived initiatives that we believe, will help us tremendously in our pursuit of a safer city and in our commitment to bringing New York City back to being, again, the safest big city in the nation. Now, the first thing on the agenda is dealing with our children, because our children are the future. No children, no future. Game over. In the last several years, we have seen so many deaths in all over New York City of children. And in most cases, children are killing children. When I'm referring to children, I am referring to youth under 21, under 18, 21. The majority of casualties to our street violence occur within these demographics, under 21, for no good reason. Obviously, no violence is a good reason, but the reason why they're killing each other is even more, frivolous. Pretty much nothing. Pretty much nothing. And today, I will be suggesting some of the elements that could help us quell the beef that is, going on between our youth in New York City. We've seen kids being killed walking out of school. We have seen even a child killed within school in the Bronx a couple of years ago. We've seen kids being killed walking into the school, walking out of school, walking home, walking out of home. We've even experienced youth being killed at their home. A couple of months ago, a family who lost one son, and the gang members came back to take the life of the second son, were able to shoot the second son, but the second son survived. And with the help of our law enforcement and community and elected officials, they were able to move the family to an undisclosed location because the gang members had pledged to eradicate the children. That is how bad the situation in New York has become. But as bad as it is, it's preventable. We have prevented before. We came out of the 80s and 90s where New York was a death trap. Then we had effective leadership and we eradicated to a negligible number. Therefore, we know how to do it because we've done it. And that is why we're declaring public safety again so that New York City will not be a death trap to our children, to our seniors, to our residents, to our entrepreneurs, and to those who love New York and visiting New York. We want New York to be a safe zone, no matter which neighborhood, no matter what their socioeconomic position, no matter what border. We want New York to be a safe zone from top to bottom, left to right, south, north, west, and east. Every part of New York, every neighborhood, every corner must be a safe zone. And that is the objective of this public safety declaration. In recent months, we've seen gangs or gang of thieves smashing windows of high-end establishments, unheard of, and during the day, and taking values in hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in some cases, millions of dollars. And we've seen the same scenario playing in our mom and pop, stores, grocery stores, dailies, supermarkets, where people walk in with arms and in some cases murder these owners or their employees just because they came to rob. We cannot tolerate such occurrence. We can never ever normalize it, and we can never ever make any excuse why they're happening. The only option is to stop it right away, and that is the objective of this public safety declaration. Now, obviously, let me surprise you to some of the facts that you may not know. Well, number one, I am a black man. That is surprising to you. Number two, I am a poor person. Number three, I have never lived in a white neighborhood. I'm a black, born black, raised black, and I'm a black and live in the black neighborhood. And number four, I'm an orphan. And number five, I do not have formal education. The reason why I'm giving you this so that you will not say, oh, this guy is speaking like conservative or Republican, whatever. No, I have no connection to the conservatism, no connection to the Republican. I'm a registered Democrat, actually. I live in the Bronx, and since I came to this country, I live in black neighborhoods in Brooklyn, Harlem, then the Bronx. You can never ever associate me with conservatism or Republican talking point, nothing. I am speaking from an experience because I live in areas that is affected by crime and violence since I came to this country. I came to this country in 1986. Harlem and the Bronx were death zones, ravages by poverty, drugs, everywhere, prostitution. You can smell death on the street. Then change came. New York became the safest big city coming from the 80s and 90s violence. Today, unfortunately, for the past several years, unfortunately, crime has not gone to the 80s and 90s, but it has not been to the lowest, level since. And we need to change that. And that is why I'm saying this. So I just want to tell you who I am so that you will not associate me with, talking points of the Republicans and conservatives. Anytime in the black community, you talk about crime and violence or law enforcement, they're looking at you as a representative of a different community. I am not. I've never ever been. Never lived in a white community. Never ever. I'm a black man who lives in the black community and experience black experience from Africa, to the United States. So don't even attempt, to construe my point, and I suffer all kinds of violence. I got shot, I got stabbed, I got violently assaulted, all because I'm trying to improve the quality of life in my neighborhoods. Never, ever did I attack anybody, did anything wrong. I was always unjustly attacked because of my position of trying to improve the quality of life. That's why I'm not afraid of anything, anybody. They know it, everybody know it, they know me. Anybody who lives in New York knows me pretty much because my message never changed. My positions are bold and sometimes are lonely, but I'm not afraid of them. I'm always directly expressing my views. And people may like it People may not. People may construe it. That is their business. I've never changed. I've never gone private or never gone under anywhere. Never hide from the truth. That is why I'm here, preempting our public safety declaration press conference. So with that being said, now you know my background now. Now let me tell you exactly, the challenges that we face, especially within the Black community, where we have the proliferation of now the far left Democrats. Some of them call the Democratic Socialists of America. And their positions. Now, I believe I know where they're coming from, but I totally disagree with them. Let's take, for example, the crime and violence. Every time we talk about being tough on crime, to them, oh, this is a racist policies. They're targeting blacks and minorities. Every time, they never change. Every time you say public safety, let's be tough on law and order, they say, oh, here go again. Republican talking points, racist policies, attacking blacks and Latinos. Our kids will be in jail. Let me tell you something. Our kids are under the ground. They have been buried. They're dead. And a lot of them are maimed. They cannot walk. They cannot talk. I'm a chaplain that visits certain places. Young kids in wheelchairs because of gang activities and drugs. You cannot support black and brown by supporting criminal elements from within. Change your mind. Change your mind. This is not Republican talking point. This is reality. Our children are being buried, being murdered, and their parents are being murdered. Grandparents are raising them, if they do have grandparents. Our homes are broken because of the same mindset. So my brothers and sisters, I give you my background so that when I'm speaking, some of you will stop associating me with anything other than what I am. So therefore, if you don't want tough law enforcement activities, then there's a solution. And let me give you what the solution is. Education. And guess what? Guess who is rejecting black and brown educational opportunity? The same people. The same people. For example, now there has been a proven track record of public charter schools that have done marvelous job. I don't care how you feel about it. Reality is reality. Truth is truth. They have done a great job. You can accuse them of selecting kids, which is not true. You can accuse them a lot of things that are not, true. I'm not defending them. I'm just saying the truth. The same people that don't want to enforce public safety law because they deem them racism are the same people that say, oh, no charter schools, even though the charter schools are predominantly black and Latinos and predominantly high-achieving students and predominantly kids who used to fail in traditional public schools. But the same people that reject the notion of strong public safety policies are also denying the same victims, black and brown, the opportunity for educational choice. Now you cannot have it both ways. If you said, enforcing these public safety laws is racism, okay. But if you want to elevate the black and brown, then you got to educate them. Education is the most powerful tool to change one's condition and one's destiny. Nothing else. Has nothing to do with race, gender, neighborhood, background, nothing. Education is the #1 tool if you want to help people. Now, if our schools are not performing to send our black and brown students to colleges with readiness, then let's find alternative. But you refuse that too. You don't want to do it because the teachers union that control the narrative said don't do it. And they finance a lot of your campaigns. So really you're not standing up for fairness and for justice and for equality and for elevation. So you either have to now say, we don't want law enforcement, heavy-handed law enforcement in our communities. And by the way, nobody wants it. And if we don't want that, then we have to provide the best educational opportunity so that our children, instead of selling drugs, instead of being a gang member, instead of fending for themselves, will compete for scholarship, will compete to enter Ivy League schools, will compete to be the most successful first generation of their family. You can't have it both ways. That's number one. Number two, I'm suggesting one thing. In the traditional public school that you're protecting because the teachers union say you must protect it, no problem. But that also, you don't want discipline. In the last several years, they accuse the schools of being heavy-handed to Black and Latinos. Let me tell you something. My wife and I run an accredited school for the past 2 decades. We know how it is to deal with disciplined children, and we know how nightmarish to deal with children without any type of discipline or respect. And usually when you try to reason with them and you talk to their parents, you know why they're not disciplined. So, my friends, if you don't want police in your neighborhood and you don't want charter schools and other schools, then allow discipline. Let the schools have the right to say, this is our code of conduct. Any child that walks in here must have total respect to the principal, to the teachers, so that the teachers are the masters of their classroom. Now, I'm not saying that the teachers must be savage or discriminatory or violent. No, nobody says that. That's illegal. But what I'm saying is a teacher must have the right to say to a child, sit down one time and not repeating it. A principal must have the right to tell a child, I don't want to see you in my office again for what you have done, and the school will not do it. They have the right. But you say, no, that's discrimination too. And also what you don't want, you do not want accountability. We said, okay, now let's then, if we cannot discipline students, now let's have the parents being accountable. That also you say is discriminatory. Every single thing, the same people said, we don't want heavy-handed police. Nobody wants it. We don't want a lot of police. Nobody, by the way, wants it. We don't want, strict public safety. Nobody wants it if you don't have to. At the same time, you don't want accountability. No discipline, no accountability, no charter school, no school alternative, nothing. And last but not least, the people that you say you're defending, they are not college ready. Report after report after report are showing the children that you're keeping in these schools that are mostly violent and failing them, they're not ready for college. If they're not ready for college and you don't provide them the alternative, to work while they're in school, guess what happens? They will end up being recruited by gang members and drug dealers, and violence and cycle of poverty and broken homes, broken dreams, and grandmothers raising their children, grandchildren, and babies having babies, and all others will continue on. This is the reality. I'm telling you the truth. You don't want to hear it. A lot of you don't want to hear it, but this is a fact. Now, the second thing that I'm suggesting we do. We should, and by the way, I mentioned this to Mayor Eric Adams, and Mayor Eric Adams said, you talk to my team, and I'm going to talk to them. This is what I'm suggesting. I have a barber in the Bronx who has been in this country for over 3 decades, has been cutting hair, has been moving from one salon, one building to another building. Hardworking, 7 days a week he works. Married man, raising children, all of them actually, he said, are going to college. I think only one. All through barbering. But in the last 3 decades, he has vacated his well-established business for almost 4 times because landlords keep selling their buildings. And anytime a landlord sells the building, he either has to move or they have to double or triple the rent. And this has caused him so much hardship to a point where it may bankrupt him and it may kick him out of business. I told Mayor Eric Adams, and I told many officials, let's provide individuals like this what we call the right of refusal, meaning that if you have a long-term lease on a building, these are private homes, by the way. If the owner wants to sell it, they have the right. This is a capitalist society. However, you as a long-term lessee must be given the right of refusal. What do I mean? Meaning that the building will not be sold to anybody else unless they come to you and offer you the deal that other people will accept. And if you accept it, but you don't have the money, the federal government must allocate some community funding to help you exercise your right, because that makes economic sense. Because your children will not have to change to school, your job will not be interrupted, and your income will be double and triple. And instead of you being a lessee paying rent and paying lease, you are now a landlord. You can expand, and the economic circle within the neighborhood becomes huge. And every elected official said this is a great idea, but nobody has done, unfortunately, anything else. That's number. Number two, I'm also suggesting, in the Bronx, for example, we have so many celebrities who were born in the Bronx, raised in the Bronx, but the moment they sign a contract because they are talent, whether they are basketball players, whether they are boxers, whether they are, football players, or whatever they are, whether they are, artists, the moment they sign multi-million-dollar, their family, remove them from the Bronx for safety reasons. I'm saying to elected officials, let's create some type of incentive. Let's incentivize these individuals to be able to live in the Bronx. How do we do it? There are many ways we can do it. Tax incentive, provide security, provide economic benefit, provide, safe zone, whatever it is. If their lives and their family lives are safe in the Bronx, they will stay in the Bronx. A lot of them, they move them to a neighborhood that have less blacks, because unfortunately, these successful individuals live in successful neighborhoods, and most successful neighborhoods are not black neighborhoods. That's the reality. But now, if we incentivize them to stay in the Bronx, now the economic circle, will continue to multiply within the Bronx. This is another suggestion that I am suggesting, and I'll be more than happy to talk in detail about this aspect of our public safety declaration. And last but not least, let's be communal wolf pack. What I mean by communal wolf pack is that whenever a task, come before us, let's find every player's role. This way, we're not chastising one, we're not attacking one. For example, right now, a lot of people say, oh, these politicians, they don't do anything. They promise, they're a liar, blah, 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 whatever. No. Elected officials have role to play. Clergy have role to play. Teachers have role to play. Parents have role to play. And, community organizers have role to play. Activists have role to play. The businesses have role to play. Non-profit organizations have role to play. Let us find each one's role and help them play it correctly. If we do that, any task that comes before us, we can do it right. If it's a threat, we will eliminate the threat. If it's an opportunity, we will actualize the opportunity. That is what we call communal wolf pack. Instead of fighting each other, demonizing each other, let's not do that. Let's just come together and give individuals their ability to function maximally based on their jurisdiction. Elected officials, really everybody, instead of keep demonizing and attacking one another. Now, I'm going to end with this. The current climate of hatred, divisiveness, violence, and crime, they're not sustainable. They are not. And I don't care where you are. Only so-called bad neighborhoods, meaning poor neighborhoods, used to be dangerous. Now, violence is all over the city. Attacks all over the city. Every group, every race, every business, every neighborhood is getting the attack. Let's come together on Wednesday, March 15, to declare public safety in New York City. I'm looking forward to seeing you all. Thank you, and God bless you. And may God continue to bless the greatest city on earth, New York City. Thank you.
Undoubtedly, Africa is the best tourism destination on earth. The continent is blessed with the most conducive atmosphere. To feel and enjoy these blessings, join the most productive one-week tour of the continent organized by Daylight Africa every September 2nd to September 9th to see beyond the fallacies about Africa on the mainstream media. Contact us at daylightafrica@gmail.com or call 718-822-5555. Daylight Africa. Revolutionizing tourism industries in Africa.